Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Pip, BDM for Explore. I'm going to take you through our sustainability story. So for Explore, for those that don't know, we offer over 500 small group adventures to more than 120 countries worldwide. And within that, we do have various themes, obviously some of which are extremely beneficial from a sustainability point of view, especially our walking and cycling trips. But we have a various range of cultural and wildlife holidays and family adventures too. Now, let me introduce you to our most sustainable brochures yet. It's all plant-based ink, water-based glue. There's no foils, there's no staples. It's recyclable paper from sustainable forests. And this is how they'll arrive in that lovely boxed wrap, getting rid of the plastic shrink wrap finally. So that's good news. So the brochures can be ordered from Tradegate and will be delivered minus the plastic in this format, which is great. Now, in terms of why using Explore, obviously we're an adventure travel company you can trust. We have unforgettable experiences all around the world. We only use our expert local guides, which I'll come on to, and obviously operate our trips in a small group. That's an average of just 12 people, 16 as a maximum. And we're responsible at heart. Sustainability is really in our DNA. So when we travel, we want to travel with the aim of minimising negative impacts. So things like emissions, over tourism, not contributing to the local community. And we want to increase the positive impacts, of course. So that means contributing to the local economy, employment, reducing poverty, sharing our knowledge and sharing experiences, of course, as well. That's so important to explore. So in terms of our customers and how you'd recognise them, they all want obviously an authentic, culturally rich experience, and the destination is so important, more important than where they're staying, believe it or not. They like to travel in a small group, and most importantly, they want a sustainable travel experience. In fact, 76% of customers that we surveyed just recently said they wanted more transparency on the impact they're having from a carbon perspective. 1 in 5 customers have said in a recent survey by Which that carbon impact means a great deal to them, and they want to be aware of their carbon footprint. And also they want to travel with a company they can trust. Obviously, Explore have been Which recommended in the escorted tour category for the last 2 years, which is fantastic. And of course, being regular customers of ours, we do get 66% repeat business. We do reward their loyalty, and actually for our Platinum Loyalty Club members, that means they've travelled on over 10 trips or more. We actually plant a tree for them for every single trip they take with us, which is a great initiative. So as I mentioned, sustainability is in our DNA. It's one of our driving principles. And every single trip that you'll take with Explore offers you a local, authentic and carbon offset experience. Now, in terms of sustainability, it starts from the office, to be honest. We've got zero to waste landfill. There's no bins anywhere. We recycle everything. Solar powered systems for lighting electricity. So we start at home, but also on tour, this is equally as important. And just by way of doing a small group tour, leaders that we use, as I mentioned previously, are handpicked by us. They're actually trained by us. Most importantly, they're employed by us. So we're actually supporting their local communities. We travel in small groups because that has less of an impact. It's less intrusive to people as we travel. We're welcomed into communities rather than sort of being too intrusive. So we're actually welcomed along. And it means you're not traveling on these big sort of buses, the 40-seaters. We can actually travel on local transport and have that as part of the experience as well. We use smaller family-run accommodation. You won't find us in the big chains of hotels, again, because we want to support those local communities and put employment back into those areas as well. And of course, we're a lot more quirky styles of accommodation and more boutique style, and we'll give you a much more sort of personal experience. That's really important. So that's what we have on tour generally. I have got a video to play, which I'll actually do after the presentation, if that's okay. But just to come on to some of the sort of projects, charities, and initiatives we have across the world. We have a robust animal protection policy. We call it a protection policy rather than a welfare policy. It's so important. We work with Animal Dial, we work with Born Free, 4 Paws charities as well. And we actually implemented this plan, which includes a traffic light system in terms of protecting our animals. Basically, we have a no contact policy at all for any wild animals, regardless of which category they fall into. So our traffic lights are green for free roaming animals, amber for working animals who we check on annually, and red is for any captive animals, animals in captivity, but we independently audit these for quality assurance. It's a lot more strict, so we recognise the welfare of these animals abroad. So very, very important that we have that, and some people forget even that's a big part of a sustainability programme. So very important is our animal welfare. Also, we work with these projects you can see on the side as well. Rewilding Britain is fairly new to us. We started our partnership with them in October 2021, and we actually donate £3 per passenger for every passenger booked to Rewilding Britain. And it starts at home. It's actually protecting our own environment. The UK is sadly actually in need of more protection in terms of the forestry. So very, very important initiative, that one. So it's really to restore the natural world. It's to boost the biodiversity as well, and support local economies, which is so important for the UK. So it's a big one. We work with Cool Earth. That's in terms of protecting our existing ancient rainforest, pretty much where ecosystems already thrive and carbon is already stored. And we work with the big B Corp Climate Care, very importantly, to offset all our remaining carbon. So we contribute funds to them. We have verified projects globally that we use as well. And as I mentioned, we carbon offset every single trip. This includes the flights and all land elements that we offer as well. So in terms of balancing our footprint and protecting our world, we have invested, and we are investing £1 million over the next 3 years to restore, protect and offset. So that comes with Rewilding Britain, Cool Earth and Climate Care for those three categories. So very, very important. Water to go, I've got to mention, anyone that knows me well will know that I love my water to go bottle. This is to actually avoid plastics and single-use plastics. So we encourage customers to use reuse water bottles. So we have our own Water to Go partnership where customers can get 15% off through our website, and they're amazing bottles. They actually take any non-saltwater source water and actually take 99.9% bacteria out of it. So it's drinkable wherever you go, from streams, from canals, from overseas tap water. They're absolutely ideal. They're genius little bottles, actually. And just to mention, we work with Ecology, very importantly. Ecology, again, they're actually B Corp. We've actually planted 12,000 trees with Ecology for our platinum customers. Those are the customers I mentioned that have that loyalty reward. We actually have, interestingly, our own forest. Here it is. You can view this. There's links to this on our website. You can see I've put March in the top corner, actually, because that was actually when World Earth Day happened. And you can see the trees where we planted them actually in that month. And you don't just see where we planted them, you actually see the local communities we supported, the project's name, as you can see for the picture down on the left-hand side, there at the bottom, and the species of tree, which is fantastic. So you can actually see that the trees are going to good places. So ideal just to sort of swat up on that and see where they're going. Now I have a Clear on Carbon video, which I'll play after if there's time, but just to sort of tell you what it says, you've probably seen recently that Explore have actually had this hashtag Clear on Carbon. We've actually established the biggest carbon measurement project of its kind in the travel industry to date. Very important. And what we've actually done is measured the carbon on every single one of our trips and published the results. So every one of our trips now, you will see the actual carbon emissions that actually are on that trip. And the reason for that isn't just that we're saying don't travel, it's not good for the environment. It's actually giving customers a choice, and this is what they wanted. They wanted that transparency. So if you liken it to looking at a menu and you see the calories, it's kind of making a decision based on that. You might sort of change your mind based on calorie intake and that kind of thing. It's the same sort of principle, but we're just being as transparent as we can. And the idea of actually publishing those results is that we can actually manage what we're doing. You can't manage what you don't measure, basically. So we've measured it very, very accurately with eCollective. So we've actually used every single tour element. So the transport, the accommodation, the leaders, the activities, everything we do on tour. And the idea is to reduce our carbon footprint by 50% by 2030. And the idea is to be at zero net by 2050. And this comes as part of our founding signatory on the Tourism States tourism declares a state of emergency in the climate Glasgow Declaration. So we're actually one of the founding signatories of that. So in order to do that, we've had to work on a 4-step climate plan, very importantly, to measure, reduce, mitigate and communicate our findings. So you can see the amount of man hours that's gone into this, and the amount of sort of numbers and figures and all the sort of things we've had to do to sort of make sure we're up and on target. So that's our clear on carbon message. Here's just some of our low carbon trips to give you an example. Our lowest ones are Active Turkey and Cycle Canal de Midi, as you'd expect, obviously on a bike with a lot less emissions, of course. And we've actually got 79 kilograms of carbon on Active Turkey and Canal de Midi. Then we've got a few others there I've highlighted which are way under 140 kilograms, so very low carbon trips. This one's a great example. It's our best-selling trip, actually, Amalfi Coast Walking. Of course, with a walking holiday, again, you're going to get less carbon emissions. We actually stay in a beautiful agriturismo, so it's a working farmhouse where they produce all their own food from their land, so very sustainable in that respect. Lovely rustic home cooking as well, and of course responsibly sourced food and ingredients, which is fab. And of course it's walking from that base each day, so no public transport for most of those days. Don't forget we have our UK trips as well. These are all very near to train stations for the starting points. We do all over the UK, from Scotland right down to the South Downs and Wales in between. And also we have our London 2. These are our rail tours. There's about 3 or 4 new itineraries, which is all about travelling out by rail, and then you can actually travel by rail back or flight. So it's actually just flight one way if needed. So some lovely itineraries, and again, using rail travel as an alternative. So we are actually in 3 categories, finalists now in the Travel Industry Awards, which is obviously by TTG, which we're very, very proud of. 2 of which, most importantly on this presentation, is Sustainable Travel Company of the Year and Sustainability Initiative of the Year, again, which we're so, so proud of. So bear that in mind, and fingers crossed for that later on. We're coming to the end, so just to remind you, online support, we have a brilliant Facebook page. It's called Explore Agents. You can't quite see it, I don't think, but it says Explore Agents. A brilliant website which has all of our sustainability plans on there as well. And also the email address for myself and Nick, trade@explore.co.uk. Please use the dedicated Agents Hub. This is accessible from our website. You can see our training videos. There's our actual sustainability videos. There's a sustainability Q&A with our head of sustainability, Prue Stone. So we've got loads of information there, which will be really, really useful after this to sort of take you through. And that's it. So in a quick sort of 10 minutes, hopefully I didn't go over, we thank you for listening, and hope we can welcome you and your customers to Explore and Sustainably as well. I'm not sure if we've got time for a video. I'll see if Charlotte gives me a nod.
You can play it if you'd like.
Okay, I'm going to play the shorter one in that case. So if you bear with me, folks, while I just see if I can do this. You're going to see me a bit more close up now, guys. Sorry. So I'm just going to select a video here. Let's try this one.
Leading the way in sustainable travel,
Explore operates over 500 small group adventures worldwide, and we're committed to reducing our impact on the planet. To do this, we all need to be clear on carbon. We've accurately measured the carbon emissions of every single one of our tours, but measuring's just the beginning, giving us a starting point to begin reducing our impact. And having clear labels enables our customers to make informed decisions. Explore's clear on carbon.